Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Welcome to my show. With tens of millions of Americans unemployed right now, personal branding and telling your story has never been more important, especially for job seekers. To talk about that, an expert, Craig Fisher. He is the founder of TalentNet and a personal branding expert. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So when job candidates come to you and they say, well, is putting up a LinkedIn profile enough? Is it?
It's a start. There's a lot more that certainly you can do, and one of those things is start your own business right away. Start an LLC. It costs almost nothing to do, and then research the companies that you'd like to go work for, and publish that research on your LinkedIn profile, and tag all the recruiters and hiring managers at those companies for which you've just done some free research.
So a LinkedIn profile is just a starter,
That's right.
Give me an example of a job candidate who's doing it right when you think about what you guys do and how you coach people.
Well, you could call me a job candidate.
Okay.
Right? I'm constantly looking for my next customer, or sometimes even my next employer. Depends on how I'm feeling those years, and I'm constantly putting out content that attracts the type of people who I would want to work for or work with. The content is largely video, some podcasts, and I do research about the companies that I'd like to do business with, and I publish it on my LinkedIn profile under my LLC, and I call that work, but it actually attracts the customers, the employers that I want to do business with. I do employer branding, and I help companies attract talent to their organizations. What's interesting about that is going to be when companies do start bringing people back, their messaging has to change.
Yes.
And so that's what we do.
Well, you're a real pioneer in this space, and I know you're working on a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll a little clip right now.
When Twitter got popular, people started to abandon the regular chat rooms. And so we started TalentNet as the first ever Twitter chat for recruiters. TalentNet Live, the conference, spurred directly from a request on the TalentNet Twitter chat to meet up.
This was supposed to just be a small event. I said, I'll just come out and do my thing. If it dies, there'll be no one here, and that'll be okay. If it goes well, that'll give me an indication. We turned up, there ended up being about 200 people here. It was a much bigger event.
The people who attend the event feel like it is such an amazing community and such an intimate event where all speakers are accessible because they're part of the audience.
Even though it's been 10 years, I really feel like it still has some of that same feeling, that camaraderie.
A lot of the discussion, the presenters, what we were walking through was more of the heart side of recruiting and people than the head.
I love talent acquisition because it's great to have the ability to put people in meaningful work that's meaningful for them.
What type of talent really looks towards the future and can be part of a transformation in an organization?
TalentNet has made a more profound impact on my life than literally anything. The only reason I live in Dallas, the only reason I met my wife, and the only reason I have the life I do now is actually because of TalentNet and Craig Fisher.
People started telling me that their life changed for the better, or their job changed for the better, or they were able to do better things, cooler things, get approval for budgets because of things they learned at TalentNet. And people were connecting sort of outside of my realm, and it took on a life of its own, and at that point I knew I couldn't stop.
can't wait to watch the documentary. Yeah, you really whet our appetites there. Did you see all of this coming when you first did your first event?
So I didn't. It was almost a user conference, but really it started as a Twitter chat. It was the first Twitter chat for recruiters back in the late 2000s, and there was an appetite at the time. The economy was bad. People didn't have money to go to a $1,500 event, and so people said, "You've got all this talent in Dallas. Why don't we just host our own?" And so we've thrown a low-cost recruiting event for HR professionals to come learn about their craft. For the last 10 years. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We've got some pictures from previous events, and as we're watching some of these, what is the secret to putting on a great conference?
So programming is really important, of course, and you want to have speakers that aren't so polished that they're not approachable, but don't over-script what they're going to say. And make it more conversational than I don't want to talk at you, I want to talk with you, and make the audience feel that they're part of the event.
Yes, and of course we've got a pandemic.
Yes.
So how are you dealing with that? Are you having to pivot?
Yeah, so we normally host our conferences at a large employer's headquarters, and we show off their employer brand to the recruiting community and job seekers at large. And our last event was supposed to be in March at VRBO's headquarters in Austin. We host 2 events a year, and we had to push that back, and we're going to create now a digital event, and your studios would be a great place to do that.
Well, thank you. We'd be honored to host you.
Yeah.
Where do you see this going? I mean, if you're this successful at the 10-year mark, what does 20 years look like for you?
Yeah, we're going to plow on, right? I mean, we do the one-off events in strange places. We've been in London and Chicago, and we'll do these pop-up events. But we'll continue the Texas tradition. We're the largest recruitment and HR conference in Texas and the Southwest, and we'll continue to do this. But our next event is supposed to be November 20th at Toyota's headquarters. And we'll just have to see if anybody is back in an office by then and willing to sit close enough to host a conference.
Outstanding. We're almost out of time, so I want to give you a chance to look into that camera right there and just speak to the job candidate who feels defeated and give them some words of encouragement.
So if you are out of work right now and you are looking to get gainful employment or just some income, call me. There are things you can do, simple things you can do to start attracting the right kinds of customers or employers to you. My LinkedIn strategy is like nothing you've ever seen. So just connect with me on LinkedIn and let's do some good work together.
Outstanding. Craig, we're going to put your website up as we close out this segment, and there it is, TalentNetLive.com. Thank you so much for being on the show.
All right, thank you.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.